Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Platitude Era podcast. In this episode of the podcast, what movie are we reviewing today? Well, this is a mouthful. I'm going to call it Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, but you can call that movie
Harley Quinn, period on top and then period on bottom with like a blank space in the middle, and then space Birds of Prey. But I think like the B in birds is a brass knuckle, and I think there's an arrow somewhere in there too.
and a bow.
And a bow, and maybe a gun, and maybe a little Chinese girl with a baseball cap. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen the typography of the Birds of Prey poster.
So this movie got really good reviews and praise, but then performed really poorly at the box office. Don't know why. There's a lot of reasons and excuses. One is that it was rated R, so it limited how many people could see it, but Deadpool was rated R and did very well.
We're coming around Valentine's Day as well, too. So you'd think that February slot for a superhero movie would be 3 years, like 3 years. I'm going to name three. It's not 3 years in a row, I can recall this, but it's like Deadpool, February, kind of Valentine's Day-y release, did very well. Black Panther, we all know the history of Black Panther, did very well. Yes, thank you, my fellow brother. And Birds of Prey, not so much, so it's curiosity.
Something happened with the February where it's sometimes it does well for first-time films, sometimes not so well for franchise films, because Deadpool 1 did really good. Deadpool 2 said, no, we don't want to jinx it, so we're going to push it more into the summer.
I think the first Kingsman came out around this time. I think the newest one was supposed to come out around this time, and it got pushed back. I think. I don't know, but, you know, it seemed like February seemed like a burgeoning time for movies. I don't know, maybe for dates to, you know, to go out for the Valentine's-ish weekend, but I guess not this time around.
Well, dates always fight on Valentine's Day, so it makes sense that it starts right from the beginning as to fighting what movie are you going to see. Action movie for guys or a nice romantic movie for the ladies?
That sounds very sexist. And what about gay couples? Then who's who? Who wears the pants in that relationship? And when I say gay, I know you're being homophobic and not assuming what kind of gender I meant. It could go either way.
So this movie, Birds of Prey, I love the blend of humor and action in it. Had really good action scenes, filmed well. No shaky cam. I gotta applaud that, because you don't know how many action movies we see that have shaky cam.
A lot of good, wide, well choreographed fight scenes. They got one. See, here's the thing: you can just like, we got a guy from John Wick. That could mean anything, but apparently they got a guy from John Wick. And that's why I think it was like done in reshoots or something, I don't know. But they're like, okay, action's kind of the reason people go to see these things. So if we have shitty action right off the bat, then people aren't going to find this a worthwhile franchise. So they got someone who could do action to shoot this. And, you know, action was not too shabby.
And it was different as well. Usually when you see action movies like John Wick and other action heroes, their fighting style is kung fu or karate. Harley Quinn's fighting style is pro wrestling.
Yeah, it's a lot of grappling, a lot of like using your momentum to spin around, also using a big hammer.
Yeah, and oh my god, you got to see this movie for this awesome fight scene she does with a baseball bat. She moves the bat and uses it like an extra appendage.
Okay.
Appendage means arm, right?
Probably.
Anything else you want to add before we get into our recommendation?
You can mute my microphone during that bit. You jumped right into your next thing.
It goes into mine, so now we got to restart from that. Anything else you want to add before we get into our recommendation?
Ewan McGregor is pretty good at his performance. He has fun with it for a time until they make him the villain, because unfortunately when you have a bad guy, eventually he turns from likable and charismatic into pure asshole, and the pure asshole turn I wasn't completely a fan of, because he was so likable in the beginning of the movie, but I guess you need a villain in your movie about villains, kind of. I don't know. Ewan McGregor did a fine job.
So, what did our friends at Rotten Tomato had to say about Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn? Well, the critics gave this movie 78%. It's still fresh, but I mean, a lot different from when the early screenings came out and they got high praise. Audience gave it a 79, so this is the first time ever we have critic and audience score that match.
Yeah, I mean it's a light, enjoyable romp. If you're, I don't know if I use this phrase. Let's assume I do. It's the kind of turn off your brain and don't think about it kind of movie where it's kind of a lot of light energy and just kind of go go go. Some of the ancillary characters, I think they do pretty good too. I wish they went a little deeper with them because like Rosie Perez, they're always saying, "Why does he sound like she talks like she's from an '80s cop movie?" And they don't really go into that enough. She just says a few things that make her sound like that. Huntress, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, like has this funny bit where she's like, "And you know what they call me?" And everyone calls her something else, even though she has a different name. They don't lean into that, and like how she's bad at being a vigilante. I kind of wish they did more. A lot of these character traits are kind of surface level, and maybe I don't know if that's everybody's problem with the movie. Maybe their brain thought of it, but they didn't. Or I'm fucking up that Plinkett line. You didn't think of it, but your brain did. There we go. That's closer. Where it's just there's like a lot of elements there that are that can be mined out to fully flesh out this movie. A lot of it feels very surface level. It's still fun and enjoyable. It's got some action. It's got some humor. I feel like towards the ending it kind of peters out like sometimes action movies do, where it's like I don't even remember what happened towards the end. I feel like the first like 15, 20 minutes or so is the most enjoyable bit of the movie, where it's just Harley Quinn doing it for herself. You gotta, I don't want to spoil it, but there's like the opening bit is very fun. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, very Deadpool-y, except Deadpool did it at the end and they do it at the beginning. Too much?
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Just because I'm looking at you doesn't mean I'm looking at you with spite. Sometimes my face is the same. Retching bitch face, bitchy resting face. It depends. Doctors are still out on the phraseology of how to pronounce that.
And my recommendation for this movie is see it when you get a chance. It was really fun to watch. It's a comic book movie, so it doesn't make sense, but it makes as much sense as it's supposed to. And I guess with the poor box office performance of this Birds of Prey movie, is this the end of rated R comic book movies?
No, of course not. That's stupid. Only you, a stupid person, would say something like that. And only you, a stupid person commenting on this video, would say something in agreement to that statement. No, it'll be fine. Technically, The Kingsman counts. The Kingsman, singular, is technically like a graphic novel-y rated R movie, technically. What's the guy's... Not Mark Millar. Matthew Vaughn. There we go.
Yeah.
That's, that's R-rated. That's coming out in November. But, I mean, it was going to be in February, and it probably would have done well because people like that kind of shit, as do I. It'll be fine. I'm pretty sure. I think they're going to give it a little bit of a breathing room, which is kind of ironic because this was supposed to be a semi-reboot for Suicide Squad, even though there's going to be another Suicide Squad reboot. But I'm pretty sure people will be more excited for their Gotham City Sirens, Harley Quinn, and Poison Ivy. Whatchamacallit? We just heard a reference to it. Girl and Girl Drive Off a Cliff movie.
Oh, Thelma and Louise.
Thelma and Louise, road trip movie. I'm pretty sure if they get a good Harley Quinn, good Poison Ivy, and they can bounce off each other and do their Thelma and Louise thing, I'm pretty sure people will come in droves to see that.
Well, in the meantime, we should buy the Batman the Animated Series cartoon show, the episode with Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. That was very Thelma and Louise.
Well, there you go. See, I'm just ripping off what people have already done before. I'm just saying what is previously existing knowledge. So when Gotham City Sirens comes out with your Poison Ivy and your Harley Quinn comes out, and they rip off that episode of the comic, it's because that episode of the show is worth ripping off to make your movie.
All right, everyone. We can keep going about this, and believe me, I do want to keep talking about this movie, but I have some bonus footage, and I want to put together a director's cut of the Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey movie. Thank you, everyone. Bye.